Did you ever wonder why your life feels different? Not harder. Not easier. But heavier. Like the universe handed you an invisible weight and whispered, "Carry this. It's yours." And maybe, just maybe, you've always known it wasn't random. If you were born on one of these rare, mystic-aligned dates, you weren't born. You were summoned. Keep watching. This isn't just astrology. This is your activation. Because before you even took your first breath, the sky carved a secret into your soul. And it's time to remember what it said. This message is not for everyone. It will call only those who feel it like a pulse beneath their skin, those who've been waiting for a sign that was never meant to be loud. Only undeniable. By the end of this video, you will understand why you felt watched, tested, and haunted by synchronicity. You'll know the truth behind your timeline, and why you were placed exactly where you are, exactly when you were. You will remember what you came here to do. Let's begin. There are certain dates, windows of cosmic turbulence and divine breathwork, when souls are chosen for a sacred task. These souls don't just reincarnate. They descend. They're pulled from the spiritual ether like lightning trapped in human skin. And you? You might be one of them. If your birth falls under one of these alignment days, you've likely never fit in. You've probably felt that time work strangely around you. People either feel drawn to you or unnerved by you. You notice everything, the mood behind a smile, the lie inside a compliment, the emotion inside silence. That's not hypersensitivity. That's your original coding. Chosen ones are born on threshold days, the days when portals thin, and the veil between dimensions hums like static. These are not holidays, not obvious days. They are days the sky flinched, the stars reoriented, and a soul too awake to sleep was dropped here, into flesh. December 21st, March 18th, July 7th, October 13th. Those are just a few of the windows. Does one of them sound familiar? It should. Your body knows. It's why your skin sometimes shivers without a breeze. Why you dream in symbols and wake up remembering names that no one you know has ever spoken. These dates correspond to what ancient mystics called echo points, moments when cosmic echoes from higher realms mirror themselves in our timeline. The soul that enters during an echo point carries the frequency of both worlds. They are bridges. And here's the first insight most people never hear: the life of a chosen one is not about power. It's about pressure. It's a life of delays. Of deep loneliness. Of recurring loss. You're not cursed. You're being sculpted. Because only the soul that has felt every fracture of this world can carry enough light to change it. You're not broken. You're braided. Strands of memory and energy from many lifetimes, interwoven. It's why your pain feels ancient. Why your wisdom is older than your age. You're the book that began before your parents ever met. And you probably always felt watched, not in fear, but in recognition. Like something sees you through the walls of your life and is just waiting. Patient. Almost proud. That's because the universe doesn't forget the promises it makes. And if you're born on a threshold day, the universe made you a promise before you even knew language. Do you remember the moment, maybe as a child, when you stared at the stars too long? And something inside you whispered, "You came from there." That wasn't imagination. That was remembrance. Because chosen ones don't forget everything. The veil covers only what's necessary for survival. But the rest, the visions, the déjà vu, the eerie accuracy of your feelings, those are the breadcrumbs the universe left behind for you to follow. And every obstacle in your path? Every betrayal, abandonment, every time you had to start over from nothing, they weren't accidents. They were initiations. You don't awaken by being comfortable. You awaken by being cracked open. Some of you were born during the Night of Mirrors, April 9th, October 29th, or February 22nd. These dates fall during heavy lunar distortions, where soul fragments from past lives leak through and embed into the new incarnation. If you were born then, you carry more than one timeline. That's why your emotions sometimes feel layered. Why you mourn things you've never lost. Why you fear things you've never faced. You are haunted by your own soul's history. And yet, despite the chaos, you remain kind. That's the miracle. The chosen are not chosen for their strength, they are chosen for their hearts that keep loving, even after being shattered. Let that sink in. You were not picked because you're perfect. You were picked because you're resilient. Because you've walked through the fire again and again, and somehow, you still look at others and say, I want to help. That is divine. That is sacred. That is rare. But hey, race, a secret no one tells you. Your awakening doesn't come all at once. It unfolds in seasons. First comes the isolation. Friends fall away. Family doesn't understand you. The things you once loved start to feel hollow. You begin to crave silence. Nature. Truth. You don't know why, but you can't do small talk anymore. You feel physically sick in places where people wear masks, not the kind on their face, but the ones on their soul. Then comes the fire season. You begin to burn away. Jobs collapse. Relationships unravel. You lose things that once defined you. You wonder if you're being punished. But you're not. You're being purified. Your old self must die so your real self can arrive. After the fire, the air comes. Synchronicities multiply. You meet someone who feels like a forgotten twin flame. You start to see patterns in everything, numbers, dreams, animals. It feels as if something invisible is guiding you, speaking in riddles, nudging you closer to something you can't name yet. But you can feel it. You're not imagining it. You're being aligned. Because your timeline was never meant to look like anyone else's. You are not here to follow paths. You are here to build them. And I need you to hear this. You are not late. You are not behind. Everything that happened, every delay, every detour, every dead end, it was all part of your calibration. The universe does not rush what it wants to last. And you, my love, were made to last. Because the ones who carry divine codes are never thrown into perfect lives. They are dropped into chaos so they can rebuild the world from within. And yet, even now, there's a part of you that doubts. That wonders, what if I'm just making all of this up? That doubt is part of the test. Every chosen one goes through the dark corridor of disbelief. It's designed that way. Because the universe doesn't hand you your power, it waits to see if you'll remember it. You were born during one of the activation intervals, windows of time where the Earth's magnetic field weakens just enough to let cosmic frequencies pass through. That's why so many of you born on April 4th, September 11th, January 1st, or June 6th often experience spontaneous awakenings. Usually after a shock. The death of a loved one. A near accident. A betrayal that splits your life into before and after. Those moments were never punishment. They were your switch being flipped. Because you don't awaken through peace. You awaken through rupture. Through the cracking of the false identity you were forced to wear just to survive. And once that identity starts to dissolve, something ancient steps forward. The original you. The real you. The one who came here before the conditioning, before the trauma, before the world told you to be quiet, small, safe. That version of you has been waiting, watching, listening for the signal. And this? This is it. This is your reminder that the strange things you feel aren't madness. They're memory. You remember the stars because you come from them. You remember pain that never happened in this life because your soul has touched timelines most people can't even imagine. You didn't come here to blend in. You came here to break spells. To dismantle falsehoods with the vibration of your presence. To walk into a room and shift the atmosphere without saying a word. But that power doesn't come without price. That's why so many of you live with deep fatigue. Not just physical, but soul exhaustion. The kind that sleeps for 8 hours and still wakes up tired. Because every day, you're translating two worlds, the one you live in and the one you remember. And that remembering is heavy. But you're not alone. In fact, right now, at this very moment, thousands of souls just like you are waking up. You may never meet them, but you'll feel them. Across time zones. Across cities. Across oceans. Like stars blinking on, one by one, lighting up the grid. This is not a coincidence. This is a global activation. The Earth's frequency is changing. The pulse of consciousness is accelerating. And the chosen ones are rising, not to dominate, but to heal. To be the frequency holders in a time of collapse. To be the calm in the storm, the whisper in the chaos, the anchor when everything else is shaking. But that means one thing. You must stop waiting for someone to confirm what your soul already knows. You don't need permission to step into your purpose. You don't need a title, a certificate, a guru. You need only to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. That remembering is your revolution. That remembering is your return. Because in the end, your true path will never require you to betray your own heart. And your true power will never scream. It will glow. Quietly. Unshakably. From within. So here you are, standing at the edge of the invisible. No one around you can see it. They think you're overthinking. Overfeeling. Overreacting. But deep down, you know. You're standing between who you were told to be and who you truly are. And something ancient is whispering, jump. Because you were never meant to live a normal life. You were meant to live a life that ripples through dimensions. Every time you chose kindness when anger was easier. Every time you picked up your broken pieces and stood anyway. Every time you stayed soft in a world that asked you to harden. You were doing the sacred work. The mission isn't always loud. It's not always rituals and crystals and mantras under the moon. Sometimes it's taking a breath when your mind wants to spiral. Sometimes it's telling the truth when your voice shakes. Sometimes it's walking away from what drains you, even when it's all you've ever known. You weren't chosen to escape the world. You were chosen to remake it, quietly, gently, through the frequency you carry. And yes, sometimes it's heavy. Sometimes you will feel like falling apart. And that's okay. Even stars collapse before they explode into galaxies. You are allowed to unravel. That's where the magic lives. And here's something most people don't realize. If you were truly ordinary, you wouldn't be here, watching this, feeling this, remembering this. Ordinary people don't hear the call. But you do. And now you know why. Because you were born with a seed inside you, a dormant frequency that only awakens when the world begins to shift. And that time is now. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be ready. You just need to be willing. Willing to follow the tug in your chest. Willing to believe that your sensitivity is not a flaw, it's your compass. Willing to trust that your life isn't falling apart. It's falling into place. The pain? It was a message. The isolation? It was sacred space. The timing? Divine. And the voice in your soul right now, the one that says something is coming, something is changing, I am not who I used to be. That voice is right. You're not who you used to be. Because now. You remember. You remember that you are more than a name. More than a body. More than a story. You are the echo of stars. The breath of forgotten gods. The stillness between lifetimes. You are not just part of this world, you are part of what heals it. So don't stop. Don't shut down. Don't silence your gifts just because others don't understand them. They weren't meant to understand. Not yet. But they will feel it. They will feel you. And now, as this message closes, know this. This wasn't a coincidence. You didn't find this video. It found you. Because you needed a mirror. And now you've seen what you truly are. A chosen one. a soul on fire, a guide between worlds. And if your heart is beating faster right now, if your eyes are wide open, if your spirit is buzzing like static under your skin, don't run from it. Lean in. And when you're ready to walk the rest of this path, to uncover even more of your blueprint, to remember more of what your birth date really encoded, subscribe. Stay close. There is more coming. Much more. You are not alone anymore. You never were.